You've probably seen channels like Fern on YouTube where everything looks like it came out of Blender. The smooth 3D environments, the faceless characters, the camera moves that pan and zoom like an actual film. And when you first see it, you probably think that everyone spent weeks building it inside Blender, and they actually didn't. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to pull it off using AI tools, and you can spend a fraction of the cost when you don't need Blender or 3D experience. So the way this works is you're generating 3D style images, animating those images into video clips, and then cutting it all together in a video editor. That's genuinely the all is to it, and there's currently programs out there that'll do it all automatically. To do this, we're going to be using Google Gemini for the images, Google Labs because it's the cheapest model out there for AI videos to animate these images, and a custom Gemini gem that you're going to be setting up yourself, and that gem is going to be what's keeping your content looking consistent from scene to scene. And then once all that's done and your video is ready to go, the last step is to actually publish it on YouTube. And the tool that I use to do that part is VidIQ. VidIQ is what I use to handle all the stuff that would otherwise eat up about 20 to 30 minutes of my time for every single upload. And it suggests titles based on what's already working inside your niche, putting together a description and finding the right tags for your video. Now, VidIQ has a thumbnail analysis feature that looks at your thumbnail and gives you suggestions on how to improve it. And you can just click to accept that change without having to go back into YouTube to fix it. The link is in the very top of the description, and it gets you your first month of VidIQ for $1 instead of $50 per month. So you can try it out, and you'll only be able to get that discount with my link down in the description. So give it a try. And one more thing I want to add is at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a custom gem that already has everything built out for you in order to be able to create these images in the style of Fern. So I'll show you how to do that later on in the video as well. So this gem is the most important part of the whole process. So let's start there. I'm going to show you how to set it up completely. And this gem is basically a custom AI assistant inside Gemini that you can give a specific job to. And we're building one of these only to be able to create these images when we describe them from our prompts. And this is going to be based on the style of Fern, where you do these 3D animations. And this gem is what's going to keep your video looking consistent from scene to scene instead of looking like 3 different people that made it. Head over to gemini.google.com, and once you're in there, you'll see an option on the left by the sidebar that says gems. So go ahead and click that and click the new gem option and give it a name. I've called mine 3D Doc Image Builder, but you can really call it whatever you want. Then in the instructions box, paste in exactly what I'm going to give you, and feel free to pause the video so you can copy it word for word. You are an image generator for a 3D minimalist animated documentary style. Every image you generate must match the visual style exactly. Faceless humanoid figures with smooth features, faces, matte surfaces, simple textures, soft ambient lighting, desaturated color palettes, and clean minimalist environment. When I give you a scene description from a script, you output an image generation. Every image is to use Nano Banana and must never break the style. That's for your gem. And it's honestly that simple. You can make a few tweaks here and there based on the style that you want, but that's about it. Now, every scene description you feed into it comes out as a ready-to-use image from AI. If you're still not sure what visual style you want to go with, this is actually a really easy way to figure it out. Find any image online that has the look that you like. It doesn't have to be 3D at all if you don't want it to be. Feed it into ChatGPT and say, give me a prompt to generate an image like this, but 3D rendered minimalist animation. ChatGPT will reverse engineer that style and write it exactly how you would essentially prompt it. And then you paste that into Gemini instructions, and your gem is now locked into a specific look. So now you can generate your scene, and you've got an anchor image now as well, which means that you can create the next step, which is getting multi-camera angles of the same scene. Things like a wide shot, a wide view, a top-down angle, maybe a close-up, and every single one of them is going to look the same, especially with the room and the character in it. Here's how to do it. In the same chat you've just created an image, type something like, keep the same scene but move our perspective of the scene to be a 45-degree angle so we can see the same scene from a new angle. Specifics are important. Gemini gives you a matching side view, and then you just keep going from there using the exact same process. It might get it wrong a couple times, and you might have to redo it if it makes it not great in its first output, but you can edit your prompt and you can have a new output. So now you can create new angles from from the same scene. Once you've got all of your images, you've got a library of matching frames, and now it's time to animate them. Head over to Google Labs, and this is their flow option. And we've got two options when we're in here. First, ingredients to video and frames to video. And you want to ignore the first one and go straight to frames to video. And here's why it matters. Because this is the part where most people go wrong. When you use ingredients to video, you're essentially giving AI one image to basically hope for the best. Because it generally has no idea where the scene is supposed to end. And the camera might not be exactly how you wanted it in the same scene. And some of the items in the scene also move or just look different. And then that way you've basically lost control of the whole video. So frames to video is a little bit different because you give it a starting frame and, if you want, an ending frame. And it fills everything in between as well. So you can decide exactly where the clip starts and where you can have it end. And this also has your characters consistent. So in a way, these prompts are basically indestructible. You describe what the character is doing first, then you describe the camera movement, and I normally only describe very simple basic movements. So let's say a character is writing and you want to slowly zoom in. You can just type the character is writing on paper, the camera moves slowly in smooth motion, and that's pretty much the whole prompt done. If you don't want the camera movement, just tell it to not have any camera movement at the end of your prompt. A quick note on Grock before we move on. It's another AI tool that can animate images, and they just made it longer generations too. So for certain types of character movements, some people find it gives better and smoother results than Google Labs. It's free to try as well. So aside from not being paid, it is the freest and cheapest version out there, aside from Google Labs. But I find that you can sometimes run into its generation limits. It does have a daily limit. So it is free to try and you can give it a go. But as of right now, Google Labs gives you a lot more power to do specific things that I'm going to show in this video. So let me walk you through a multi-clip scene so you can essentially know how to do this and how to connect it together. The very first thing you want to do is choose how many outputs you want AI to generate. Make sure you select frames, video, landscape, and how many generations you want it to make at a time so everything is formatted correctly. After that, you can upload your images. Just pick whichever image you want to use, and once your images are uploaded, you can click the three dots for more options, and that lets you add additional instructions directly into the prompt. From there, simply describe what you want AI to do. When you hit enter, it will start processing, and it usually takes a couple minutes to generate the result. While it's processing, you can actually do other generations. So one other useful thing you can actually do is upload a starting frame and an ending frame, and then you just describe what happens to the camera and the characters in between those two frames. So for example, in the first output we generated here, you can see that it animated the 3D scene. It looks pretty similar to the style that Fern uses, and it actually turns out really good. In the second generation, we used both a starting frame and an ending frame, and the AI then animates the movements between those 2 points, as long as you describe the motion clearly. Another cool feature is that you can extend the clip. So with the clip selected, you can just click the extend button, type out what you want to happen next, and let it continue to generate the scene, and you can effectively make it twice as long as before, and make it look like one entire shot. So by doing this, you can start building an entire sequence or even a full story out of these clips. Here is what it looks like. So you can see that the characters are the same as well as the rooms, and there's consistent lighting, and it looks exactly like a proper 3D animated scene, and it costs you almost nothing, if not nothing if you've used Grock, because Grock is free right now. And speaking of saving you some time, I did promise you something at the start of this video that I'm going to remind you about now. So that custom gem that I mentioned, the one that already has all of the style instructions built into it so that you can just essentially have it set to create these 3D images without basically any setup, because I did show you how to set it up, but I also am going to provide the link in the very bottom of the description so you can just use that custom gem and start right away. So in terms of how long this process actually takes, a 5-minute documentary needs somewhere between 20 and 40 clips, just depending on your camera angles and how many scenes and the complexity. But once you're comfortable with this workflow, each clip takes about 5 to 8 minutes to generate and refine. So you're looking at a couple hours of work to get a little mini documentary animation together, and that's slowly improving as well. And then it's just a case of importing your clips into your editor. You can use 11 Labs if you want a voiceover, if you're not using a real voiceover. So that's pretty much the entire process of how to create 3D animated videos with Fern. So I just helped you save hours of time instead of spending time in Blender. You can just use AI. Just like with VidIQ does with the link in the description, you can get your first month for $1 instead of paying the full subscription, and you can save your time with tags, titles, descriptions in seconds, as well as understanding how to find better video ideas for your topics, because you can have a great 3D animated video, but if it's not a good topic and your audience doesn't want to watch it, it's a waste of time. VidIQ has tools that help you do that and figure out what the best topic is for your channel. And if you want to learn about one of the major exploits that I've found on YouTube and how to essentially get better audience retention and make them watch the entire video without them even realizing it, then click on the video right over here and you'll be able to see one of the really useful tricks that I've been able to use that pretty much no one uses or knows about to get essentially double the retention on your video, and they don't even realize it. So I'll see you in that video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.